Hello there, I'm MountPain27, and this is Dean of Doom, the show we give grades to classic and contemporary Doom mods. Why? Because ranking things is fun. Today's episode will be dedicated to Doom 2 in City Only, a 36-map community project led by Myolden. As its title implies, D2 ICO is populated exclusively by city maps, that is, nonlinear, urban adventures descended from the likes of Downtown, Suburbs, and Plutonia's Odyssey of Noises. Its star-studded cast and novel premise made Doom 2 in City Only one of 2024's most hyped megawads, but it soon developed a reputation for being, well, big. The Doomworld Megawad Club almost choked to death on it, requiring a month-long hiatus after playing to rejuvenate, and even by the close of 2025, few souls on the tube were brave enough to play it. I was not one of them. I had only two thoughts when I finished D2 ICO. One, this will make a great Dean of Doom episode, and two, I never want to play this again. On that note, here's how the show works. Every map gets one grade for quality and one for difficulty. Quality grades go from A to F. Grade A levels are fun, memorable, visually distinctive, creative, and a fair challenge. We grade difficulty from X to E, X for extreme, E for easy, A through D in between. Remember that disagreeing is part of the fun, and at the end of the day, this show is about spreading the joy of Doom, so let's do so. The rules are, we play on ultraviolence and must pistol start each level. I need to play the WAD twice before reviewing it. Saves are allowed, and we will be abstaining from 100% kills on some maps today, but not necessarily because it's not worth it. I played D2 ICO on DSDA Doom to appease the gods of MBF 21, now to the WAD. Map 1, Hellions on Parade. Though it draws on the visual shorthand Myolden developed in Nostalgia's city levels, Hellions on Parade isn't quite as comfy. As the sun sets upon skyscrapers and sector trees, you'll be scrambling for cover as a whole demonic burrow closes in. These ambushes sting. Weapons are easy enough to stumble into, but those who default to heedless run and gunning may bump into fights they're unprepared for. Thankfully, Myolden provides enough cushion to wriggle free from most missteps, and AD-79's MIDI is a constant IV drip of adrenaline. The non-linear itinerary and obscurities like this fake wall secret switch tell you what to expect from the next 35 maps. This megawad is poison to UV max or busters, so I encourage you not to approach D2 ICO with that mindset, at least on first go-around. Hellions on Parade is generic by design, but Myolden's fundamentals make it hum. Grade B+, difficulty D+. Map 2, Simple Complex. After a New York minute of barreling through rush hour foot traffic, Simple Complex slows to the pace of a leisurely window shopping afternoon. Thick Yosh's micro-observations of apartment living feel extra special on a map with such massive proportions. I can't comprehensively catalog the Doom cute moments in D2 ICO that made me happy, but I'll spotlight the best ones, starting with the suborted Amazing delivery and the impaled red skull behind the zombie convention. The going down-esque battle on the hotel roof is the only one that gave me trouble, but Bright Boy went up here without the plasma rifle or SSG, so there's also a mega armor waiting for those who conquer their fear of heights. I always forget to hit the plasma path until the end of the map. With all my yet unspent cells, melting the sewage wallowers becomes easy. Simple Complex is a modestly scaled, downright personable map with just the right amount of whimsy. Grade A-, difficulty C-. Map 3, Waffle Town. Welcome to Waffle Town. Here's a rocket launcher and a whole zip code of demons to slaughter. Don't dawdle, because eventually this pack of archviles will escape the fountain, and then it's goodnight Irene. Hundreds of imps and zombies will pour out of the city center when you find the rocket stash, making you feel like you're at ground zero for the Doom 2 Hell on Earth invasion. It's a heady mix of bloodlust and disbelief. This is Map 3. Waffle Town never tops its first 5 minutes, but the bottomless buffet of sector art compensates for the sag in energy. You've got cars, tanks, and stoplights outside, fully furnished domiciles, chic circuit board architecture, and the most hardcore PC setups I've seen in or out of Doom. Waffle Town's granular doodling does come with a downside. It makes the less detailed chunks look primitive or unfinished. Its combat is also uneven. Most fights can be won by holding down the fire button with the correct weapon, and I'll try not to harp on this today, but Waffle Town's monster window dressing is pervasive. Rough edges notwithstanding, the idea cornucopia approach makes dubious the prospect of finding nothing to like in this map. My favorite set piece is the Hell Knight Revenant beach volleyball game and BFG spam after party. Gather all 6 keys to unlock the secret exit, but hold that thought. We'll cover all the secret maps at the end so as not to disrupt the flow of each episode. Grade B+, difficulty B. Map 4, CBM City. Nothing wrong with a bit of Doom fluff every once in a while. CBM City is a sector art gallery with a bit of demon slang spritzed in. As soon as you leave the police station, an army of monsters wakes up and starts killing each other, leaving plenty of time to explore the neighborhood, slurp up supplies, and enjoy the scenery. CBM specializes in vehicular Doom cute. Behold this impressive spread of cars in various stages of totaled. I particularly enjoy this half-submerged sedan and this gutsy tank, whose tail makes it look a bit like a skinned dinosaur. As much as I appreciate CBM City's brevity and effortful detail, it is a clunky piece of video game design. 2 of the 3 mandatory keys are stashed in tiny houses, the monster placement is cluttered, and hardly any fights are choreographed at all after the opening bombardment. The map goes from busy to empty in a hurry. I did not feel compelled to find more than half of the 8 secrets because they were way overpowered. It seems that CBM enjoys setting up Easter egg hunts more than fights. Grade B, difficulty D+. Map 5, the nuclear power plant. Can you name me another Megawad Map 5 that took you an hour to beat? Doom 2 in City Only is so fascinating because it doesn't confine its mappers' ambitions. It indulges self-indulgence, showcases creativity unbounded. As such, it is a Megawad made of many so-called magnum opuses, and more conducive to study than enjoyment. More on that later. The first map deserving of the magnum opus tag is Nuclear Power Plant, an auteur effort from the newcomer Novaseer. He even composed his own MIDI for it, a sing-song hard rock piece without a solid center that, to some degree, mirrors the experience of playing his map. Let's start with the positives. Novaseer has a handsome way of arranging goodies, and he's generous with everything. Duplicate weapons abound, which makes almost any route you take comfortable. I couldn't find half of the 14 secrets, but I caught 3 linked together in the first building, which gave me a soul sphere, SSG, and computer map. Another kind gesture. The uncorking in the yellow key building is fun, and I appreciate the general PG-rated violence in the map despite its obvious fondness for slaughter. The grandiose finale becomes accessible before you collect all the key cards, so you're not obligated to stick around for everything. Now this is not a Novaseer only issue, but Nuclear Power Plant wastes a lot of time making you deal with street surveillance. Those high-up revenants especially are a pain. There's also a few strange fights, like the Double Mastermind arena with the Barons and Cyber that just sort of takes up space, and the hotel fight, which lets you trivialize Part 1 by fleeing, and leaves you at an awkward impasse with Bellhop Archie in the second half. The blue key building blurs the line between secret finding and standard progression with these metal panels that lead to new areas, and the exit teleporter is so inconspicuous that twice I beat the final fight and wondered what the heck I was supposed to do next. The last word on Nuclear Power Plant is that it's inconsistent but engaging, and almost manages to chew what it bites off. The hour does not feel quite that long. Grade B+, difficulty A-. Map 6, Somewhere in Time. More retroist diorama than futuristic city block, Somewhere in Time features an ancient Egypt-themed restaurant, a basement bar with a record player, and a mall. Seriously? You think there are still going to be malls in the future? Late-night persons' ambushes are big, sloppy parades conducted by archviles, but you should be adequately supplied with heavy weaponry if you've ever looted in Doom before. I don't like this map's approach to secrets. 3 of them are unhidden doors locked behind keys you obtain normally, so not secrets. But the other 4 are much more obscure. You get a megasphere for shooting a wall, a mega armor for touching a tree, and here's the Doom Wiki write-up for how to get whatever lies behind this vent. I don't mind a less detail-intensive map to break up the sector artwork, but I was pretty disappointed by the mall's chunkiness. If you can draw a busted basketball rim, you can do better than just rectangle shelves and single texture ceilings. The final fight is rather oppressive even if you have a BFG, ending an already shaky map on a glum note. Grade C-, difficulty B. Map 7, Dark Web. 10 solid minutes of propulsive action wrapped in theme-perfect cyberpunk shine. What a godsend. The emphasis on blue and silver makes Dark Web feel connected to Return to Hadron's final episode, which came out within a year of D2 ICO. The super shotgun fight is boilerplate cannonball. Enemies emerge all around from small compartments and you're pinned till you win, and so is the final fight, which drops a big door with a block of revenants behind it, trims them with distractions, and slaps a boss monster somewhere. Instant fun. The blue key blackout caught me by surprise. Arachnotrons and archviles are a wicked combo, especially with the lights off. Dark Web is essentially faultless and selfless. A lovely assist by one of Doomdom's most reliable mappers. Grade A, difficulty B. Map 8, Crypto Crash. This is a map you bring home to mom and dad. One of D2 ICO's most fully realized works, Crypto Crash blazes with high-energy fights set in a world that has both Augur Zenith's gritty sleaze and Ancient Alien's lava lamp wonder. Its rainbow lights and rippling power sources set the tone for a Skillsaw-esque onslaught of popcorn plasma fights. Treating Weapon 6 as standard issue is both refreshing and consistent with a sci-fi setting. Living Dead's civil engineering here is outstanding. Areas connect seamlessly, monster traffic leads you towards objectives, and even secrets like this rocket launcher after ledge walk, and despite the visual busyness, I can mostly tell what doors are locked and which things I'm supposed to interact with. With the red and yellow keycards, you can access the Elysium Gate. What a stupendous final fight. First, a ballistic fireworks display, then a furious fountain flood led by a cyber demon. Paint everything blue, super combo the mastermind turrets, and send Cybe back to his manufacturer. The only deflating part of Crypto Crash is its secret exit search, which involves 2 shootable switches and a secret key I guarantee you'll run right past. It's not a big deal. Map 32 isn't something you need to see. Grade A, difficulty B+. Map 9, A City Now? Now here's a map that has no idea what's going on! A City Now is so inexplicable, even its title is a question. And the answer is no. Not a city now, a city in the future. Let's start with the fact that 4 buildings in the Siberian tundra does not a city make. And aside from the Equinox bunker, I don't see how this fits the episode theme at all. I can't for the life of me determine real John Madden's experience level. His map is such a tangle of ineptitude and intentional strangeness. Here are my exhibits. 1A, the shootable grates that open like doors are incredibly awkward. But 1B, he knows how to make doors open in the middle like Star Wars. 2A, the map makes you collect keys but never tells you why, doesn't color code anything, and in the case of the blue and yellow keys, just drops them on the floor for you to find walking out of their homes. But 2B, RJM makes his silent teleports work half decently. 3A, A City Now's conveyor belt fixation outstrips community chest 2s for chintz, but 3B, I've never seen a machine that could dispense invisibility. Honestly, it's pretty cool. I've run out of positive exhibits, but I have so many more questions. What is this throne room area supposed to be? What is this cyber demon doing? Is this fake wall secret just a joke, or is it some kind of commentary on players who insist on getting 100% everything? The reason I ask is you can leave the map with 2/3 of the monsters still alive and no sign of where they are, then backtrack through the ductwork to find a teleporter that takes you here. Before your eyes, the polar base has decayed into shovelware so rank that the monsters' heads are cut off by the ceiling, and then out of the blue, this happens. Thank God we get a computer map after this. Grade D-, difficulty B. Map 10, Upon the Brink of Transcendence. In this playground of soaring columns and pulsating pavilions, your guns never fall silent. Anywhere you want to go, there's a fight with your name on it. For the first 10 minutes, I'm a kid in a candy store, blasting demons on the run, scooping up goodies, springing traps, ricocheting off archviles, and gaping at the extraterrestrial majesty around me. Mumi's confidence in the color orange recalls Ancient Alien's Trinary Temple, but the craftsmanship is closer to Struggle and Teresian Legacy. Like Antari's, Mumi uses blue well and knows how to pinball the player through mid-intensity skirmishes, occasionally splashing them with an archvile or a treasure trap, but one of Mumi's personal signatures is the quiet ambush. After the yellow key extraction, the lower level erupts in runners and angry arachnids. With the elevator out of service, you'll have to plunge through. Rich rewards await players who see if they can make that jump, including a BFG, which will ruin many a demon's day. The final fight gives up easily, but I appreciate the awareness of where we are in the map order. Upon the brink of transcendence? Mumi, you're already there. Grade A, difficulty A-. Footnote, Dario, is that you? Map 11, Sons of Belial. Praise Osiris, a short map. This Skull Key scavenger hunt sizzles under the desert sun. Being a Myolden nerd, I can't help but recall Nostalgia's Secret Egypt map, similarly proportioned and decorated while playing this one, but he's gotten a lot smoother since then. Check out the timed rising water that reshapes the rocket and plasma fights as they peak. And watch out for that cyber demon. He can airmail early death from that exit guard post. Save something other than shells through the final heat wave and stay hydrated with this Myolden Soul Sphere secret. Sons of Belial keeps to its author's well-trodden formula, but stands out for its succinctness and makes for a comfy theme transition. Grade B+, difficulty B. Map 12, Princes of the Wad-Eye. Evoking the best of Epic 2's early levels, Princes of the Wad-Eye is a port city with a modest infernal population squashed together by a clever architect. Like Eternal, Secrechi maximizes space by creating vertical layers and charting paths through them in 3 dimensions. The first thing you see here is a secret rocket launcher, and I'd argue the entire map is about working out a way to get it. Those who succeed earn a piece of cake final fight and witness the full scope of Secrechi's design. 3 priests of Ra guard the SSG, and the map's main source of tension is where'd they go? The timing of your temple visit reshapes the level dramatically. Grab it right away and the vials are inserted into staged fights. Open the temple later, and they'll swoop off to pick up your messes. A handful of wandering monster encounters and the persistent grind of this Cyrus MIDI also play nicely on the nerves. Restrained, exploratory, and understatedly handsome, Princes of the Wad-Eye serves this megawad invaluably. grade A-, difficulty C+. Map 13, City of the Dying Sun. Easily D2ICO's most ambitious, geologically impressive, and performance-intensive map so far, City of the Dying Sun gives all the Death Bear has to give. What a powerful display, and what a rush it is to unpack this place for the first time, tiptoeing around the walls, gathering supplies, tagging secrets, and kicking in the back door just as the MIDI peaks. Now, magnificent as the scenery is, there's an awful lot of it, and without the wonderment that accompanied playthrough 1, my second impression was deflated. City of the Dying Sun's 3 keys are surrounded by churning set pieces, but the space between them is almost barren but for the occasional revenant missile. It's as if the map was liposuctioned of connecting fights, which gives me mixed feelings. On one hand, I'm really glad I didn't have to trim hedges and track down 3 lost cacodemons for 30 minutes, but on the other, I ended up wasting a lot of time working out how to get places with no monsters to guide my way, and nothing to do but fume at my own incompetence. Maps this size are so rare because they're dreadfully difficult to calibrate. Death Bear's mistake is he only hones in on 3 sequences which don't cover much of the map's acreage. You get to raise 2 villages on your way to the red key, but then you get 10 minutes of trying to figure out what ledge you need to be on to get to the next key. Even in this valley, there's so much excess space, adding nothing to the grandeur. Speaking of which, all these line defs took a toll on my PC, precipitating a bizarre glitch that I had to force quit DSDA to fix. You could say that's on my crummy hardware, but I'm pretty sure I've covered more intricate maps, and I suspect this one could be optimized a bit. City of the Dying Sun is more Cleopatra than Ben-Hur, but it's got plenty to marvel at. Grade B+, difficulty A-. Map 14, Takamet Baphomet. I think it's wrong that Senpai Gru's second credited map was made to follow Death Bear's PhD thesis. I've learned to love rough-hewn and even intentionally sloppy visuals in this game, but the combination of stock and custom textures here is just murder. The bare bulb lighting hurts, the 2D fence shouldn't be, the Doom cute isn't, and I don't know how you could make a tree line look more made of plastic. I see slight promise in the 2 Archvile fights, but Gru's only real triumph was completing this map. Almost everyone grows out of these awkwardnesses or incorporates them organically into their mapping personality, so I'm not blaming Gru for this. You don't blame the rookie for losing the game. You blame the coach who started him before he was ready. Grade D-, difficulty C+. Map 15, Sunlit Promenade. 100 degrees in the shade and there's not much of it. Sunlit Promenade stimulates your mind more than your trigger finger. Tavio's 3 most important decisions are as follows: no SSG, minimal space, lots of turrets. Right away, he introduces the tandem shelling of 4 corner cybers and their dual purpose. They want you dead, but they also offer free distractions on tap. In the red key challenges, for example, they can expose Archvile vanity, scatter bones, or turn you into pudding. Even if it's just to put pressure on one small area, the cybers are involved in almost every fight. Tavio's demon frugality also earns my respect. With 1 Mancubus, 1 Revenant, and some lava, he managed to get me twice here, and except for a single lost soul, the backpack fight is all turrets. The only thing I don't like about this is the obligation to polish off the Archviles yourself. After you liberate all 3 skull keys, a BFG duel awaits with the cybers who have so hounded you. It's the only part of the map I would call unsubtle. Grade A-, difficulty A. Map 16, Ex Nihilo. For the first few minutes, this is one of Myolden's best maps. It's nothing fancy, just pure flow run and gun. You're unloading rockets, Mancubi are bursting like ripe tomatoes, and there's so much health and ammo around, what could possibly go wrong? Well, Myolden dug too greedily and too deep, and this teleport apparatus burbled up from the murk. A la Stardate 20XD6, it warps demons incoherently around, and as if that wasn't bad enough, an Archvile quartet rolls up for round 2, ready or not, here they come. Somehow, I survived this without saving BFG, but it's a dirty trick regardless. Despite my justified antipathy towards the actual fight, I like Ex Nihilo's ending as a warning that something more sinister is just around the corner. Grade B+, difficulty A-. Map 17, Colossal Wreck. I am entertained. Part treasure hunt, part sacking of Rome, part Hollywood epic, Colossal Wreck is stupendous if you're ready to absorb it. My first playthrough frazzled and overstimulated me. Too much pressure, too many things to keep track of, too many stones left unturned. This is why we play maps twice on Dean of Doom. Colossal Wreck is an elegantly conducted symphony. It starts with cannon fire, eases into a gentle, exploratory intermezzo, and closes with a warlike reprise. Busting into Sandwich's city is laborious, but it makes the conquest feel well-earned, and is downpoured roar of demon arrows is picturesque. You can lower gates with any or all 3 lion switches outside the walls. I recommend angling for the super shotty as soon as you make it through the breach and leaning on it to silence the guards. Once the temperature drops sufficiently, you're free to pursue side quests. A blue or yellow skull key will unlock the Colosseum, but you're not high enough level for that yet. There's a plasma rifle in the ruins, a megasphere for keen-eyed explorers, and a crucial BFG stowed in a side passage of the aqueduct, which spills into the Blue Key catacombs. After dancing a jig with some skeletons in the amphitheater, you'll be ready to take on Cybe Augustus, Julius Cyber, Marcus Cyberilius, and Poppy the Goat. Of course, they stand aloof and send in the hoi polloi first, but all you have to do is snuff the immediate threats and escape when the timer runs out. Crush the tyrants, and don't let the Spider Centurion surprise you with the exit portal. I knew Weird Sandwich could draw a pretty line, but Colossal Wreck proves him a formidable adventure director. Grade A, difficulty A-. Map 18, Reservoir of Muck. When Myolden and co. were deciding to make the longest megawad of all time at their board meeting, Pro RC must have been in the bathroom. Less city map than Slaughter Scenario, Reservoir of Muck ignites, soars, and explodes like a big green firework. Laden with rockets, tripping on medikits, and flush with cells, I had no trouble collecting all the kills in under 8 minutes. To compensate for his dislike of armor, Pro RC offers a megasphere to players who dig behind the couch. I'm not sure what this rabbit mural is doing here, nor could I fully appreciate Doom Cow through the bars of the secret exit, but I'll accept them both as quirks of the kindest, shortest map in D2 ICO. Grade B+, difficulty B. Map 19, Silent Submergence. Bit of an odd duck, this map. I love ducks, especially odd ones. You wake up in a box, and the memories of how you got there are scattered like your weapons across this spacious sinkhole. It seems that Jacques Akaka, who goes by John Favreau Chef now, by the way, read the episode prompt as a city buried, because any visible signs of civilization are gasping under piles of earth. Silent Submergence has almost the perfect MIDI. I think Wormwood's Rack would have better captured this map's amalgam of whimsy and worry than Sunder's more martial version. Take the discovery of this secret archvile card game, or this cartoon moment where you punch a door off its hinges. These types of comic moments rarely exist in maps that present as horror. The wildly uneven combat adds to the dissonance. It starts you pistoling zombies, floors it into slaughter when you wade to the rowboat, and dekes you at the exit with an oblivious green hair before bringing in the bones. Silent Submergence has abundant personality, a laser eye for details, and a tale of woe I'd really like to hear, but never will. That's a recipe for a map to remember. Grade A-, difficulty B+. Map 20, A Wilted Clover's Lullaby. If A Wilted Clover's Lullaby was not in Doom 2 in City only, I would not have made this episode. That's quite lucky, because it wasn't even supposed to be in the Megawad, and in less than 3 weeks was developed from a rough sketch into a finished map. Such spontaneity and serendipity often accompany true love. And it's true. I love this map. I'm obsessed with it, and now I'm going to try and explain why. A Wilted Clover's Lullaby is a singular object, virtuosic and completely formed. It's a combat manifesto. Eater 29 lives and dies by chain gunner swarms and archvile ballet, demands you tread water with the rocket launcher and survive on the oxygen between howling demon walls and your plasma rifle's blue hot barrel. Pain is not negotiable. The figure eight of barons, hell knights, imps, and vile wildfire almost gave me a heart attack. Without a BFG to snowplow, the infernals constantly singe and claw at your back while your rockets tear away layers of your own face. It took several desperate mid-saves to escape this one, and I don't remember if I even beat it in playthrough 1. The Chevron shootout with hell knights, Mancubi, and 3D printed chain gunners is similarly blistering for its lack of armor and health. Wilted Clover is incredibly difficult, far beyond the standard that D2 ICO has thus far presented, but the 2 fights I just described are harder than its 3 climactic encounters. The blue skull key unlocks your super weapon, and in this cross-shaped hall of the arcane, a terrible battle will be fought for your right to own it. Oh, and you can bet your sorry ass there's a part 2. The final fight requires only the yellow skull to access, and for all its thunder and bluster, it's got the heart of a bully. Stand up to it. Lacking medics to stitch up the bony battalion, the demons rely on brute force and body count. You can draw them out, carve through the middle, and juggle them between chambers until their numbers dwindle. There's a secret fight for completionists, but it's worth sniffing out all 6 keys just to lay eyes on. It's a Magnolia-inspired BFG fest on a glowing platform bejeweled with plasma rain. Not to take the wind out of its sails, but I have beaten this fight on my first try twice, and that's the truth. Between its violence concertos, A Wilted Clover's Lullaby is an enthralling wander, thrumming with secrecy, teeming with stuff to figure out. It's not quite occupied, not quite abandoned. With so many lit up windows, dark corridors, and front doors slightly ajar, surely something must have its eye on you. In D2ICO's endless urban march, Wilted Clover is unique. Whether by magic, or mechanical engineering, or divine intervention, it's the only place that feels sentient. Running scared through its maze of challenges, entangled in its puzzles, you are Wilted Clover's playmate, apprentice, and lab rat. There is another map that I've personified in a similar way, and it also used this MIDI, Guardian Angel Loses Their Will. I hope this isn't taken as hyperbole. This piece is as timeless as classical music, endlessly repeatable, inescapable as Charybdis. Guardian Angel never truly belonged to the Alien Vendetta map for which it was written, but 10x10 map 10 used it first. It should feel like Eater 29 is cheating a little using it, but it doesn't, because Eater's influences are transparent and omnipresent. Ribix's Magnolia, Tourniquet's Mutabor and Miasma, Insane Gazebo's Sunder, and a pinch of Nirvana's Fractured Worlds. Despite this bouquet of inspirations, Eater 29 comes off not as a copycat, but as a meta-mapper, the culmination of many individual movements with access to all the powers of these high-concept artists. A Wilted Clover's Lullaby, really take that title in, ought to be apex doom mapping pretentiousness, a total spotlight hog, and a glaring act of self-indulgence, but it is so f***ing good that I just don't care about any of that. Grade A+, difficulty X. Now that I've opened the door to the topic, let's talk about magnum opus syndrome. A magnum opus is a masterwork, an artist's greatest achievement. Magnum opus syndrome is a Doom community term invoked when a mapper is perceived to have gone overboard, usually in community projects where there are standards, explicitly stated or tacitly understood, for what size maps should be. Magnum opus syndrome implies an ostentatious or long-winded level that expects a lot more effort from the player than neighboring maps do, and it's used as a call-out for presumptuousness, rudeness, and/or self-absorption. Now, not all long maps have the donkey tail of magnum opus syndrome pinned on them. For example, I've never seen Mechadon's Fomalhaut, Antares 031's Alpha Scorpii supercluster, or Eukiro's 2 behemoths, Anagnorisis and Kenosis, diagnosed with magnum opus syndrome. There appears to be a subjective threshold that the map we remember can cross, which turns it into, ugh, I remember that map. A Wilted Clover's Lullaby could be a stopper for some people, but it's not for me. It seems that the calculation is fun or engagement divided by time and effort expended, and if that quotient is too low, one will say, magnum opus, instead of, wow, that was awesome. More critically, the less time and effort a map demands, the less likely it is that the calculation will even be performed. So why are big maps targets for scrutiny? Shouldn't it be self-evident that big maps take longer to make? And doesn't their bigness make them grander expressions of love directed to community members now scoffing magnum opus at them? I've seen people say that magnum opus syndrome is a stupid concept, that it reflects an entitled player base which dispenses ingratitude when it doesn't get what it wants from designers who work pro bono. That's one perspective. Here's another. We have a limited amount of time. That's the human condition. You and I choose to spend big slices of our time with Doom. Players and mappers need each other. If mappers didn't need something from players, they wouldn't share anything they made. And sure, players don't work as hard as mappers in this ecosystem, but they too donate their time. The larger the donation, the higher the stakes. As much as we might want to avoid thinking about it, mappers also compete for that time. Someone submitting a 2-hour level to a community project isn't just asking a lot from players, he's also saying, I'm okay with using more player time than you guys are. Some people find that reprehensible. Others see it as the natural strivings of an artist. It's a gamble. Eater 29 won with me, but may have lost with a lot of people, and it's worth discussing whether or not to allow such gambling in a project that will consume lots and lots of players' and mappers' time. Doom 2 and City Only did not have that discussion, or at least it doesn't seem like it did, and that's what makes this megawad almost one of a kind. What we have here is a petri dish of mappers given freedom to do whatever they wanted, judgment-free. I leave it to you to decide whether this experiment's outcome is a cautionary tale or an exciting revelation, and I hope I've convinced you that magnum opus syndrome is neither a useless malicious concept, nor its invocation a reliable sign of mapper egotism. In conclusion, A Wilted Clover's Lullaby is really big, and I love it. Map 21, Cruel's End. Saddled with the task of following Wilted Clover, Shawnee straightened his back and bore it like the mighty Atlas. Cruel's End may also treat you like a beast of burden on first play, but coming at it aggressive and caffeinated brings out the best in both of you. Shawnee has an instantly recognizable aesthetic which he originated in Elevator's upscale apartment decor. He's an artisan, working in brownstone, wood paneling, and marble. He corrupts domestic scenes with eyeballs, flesh chunks, and curtains of fire. The city theme suits him, as does Hell, with its open commons, cyber snipers, and highly scripted encounters. Cruel's End also recalls Shawnee's work in Pina Colada and What Lies Beneath, but his combat has never been so tight, nor his prestidigitation so impressive. Checking this mirror made me physically double take, and after an absolutely ripping 4-part flat party, I jumped in the bloody tub, poked an eye, and bobbed back up to find the whole place reassembled. Nobody but Syriac Harris has impressed me more with sector work. The other 2 key quests do not disappoint. The stepwise courtyard battle, which makes walls and archviles materialize, is exciting stuff, and the timed blue key library battle keeps the pedal to the metal. Look out for Skull with Shade switches as you go. Finding all 5 destroys the BFG force field. Shawnee's pièce de résistance is the red key kill floor, which sequences waves of monsters to the familiar rhythm of pressing switches to keep archviles out of sight. Cruel's End could have been a perfect 10 if not for its unmarked exit door, which leads to a very abrupt ending and 80 monsters I've never been able to find. Nonetheless, it showcases Shawnee doing everything he does well as he's ever done it. Grade A, difficulty A. Map 22, Lifeless Sanctum. Almighty God. Do you hear that? I think that's Hell's heartbeat. What an utterly appalling spectacle this is. Lifeless Sanctum takes Doom Hell to new depths of abjection even as its tortured towers lurch skyward. Corpses hang in midair, dripping the last of their blood. Found objects, weird growths, and twisted metal make mockeries of gardens, and scars in the soil reveal only layers of viscera beneath. Everything that does not stink of decay is somehow glowing, flashing, or sparking with unspeakable power. It's a junkyard, a graveyard, a butcher shop. With its ambient soundtrack, resupply rooms, body horror, and of course the shimmering monolith final boss, Lifeless Sanctum feels like the end of the Snaxiverse, which spans Stickney Installation and Obsidian. I've never seen Snaxolotl on such a huge canvas, but the energy and urgency of her combat is preserved, especially in the frantic struggle at the start and the closing carnage. Those naked reanimators dance to the devil's fiddle, and they say that they will never die. But they're wrong. Lifeless Sanctum has a few drawbacks. It's performance intensive even on OpenGL. I noticed a few visual awkwardnesses that didn't look intentional, and this holographic railing can softlock you if you fall through. Whoops. Believe it or not, this is your respite in the Hell City episode. Grade A, difficulty A-. Map 23, Idumea. It's a stiff competition between the frame rate and this opening fight, which scares me more. I played the entirety of Idumea like this once, and it was the pits, but thankfully Tavio made an alternate version for lower end PCs and packaged it in a standalone release. That's the one you'll see me play today. Goodness me, I heard you say. Standalone release, Mount Pain? Is it really that big? Yes. I risk hypocrisy saying Idumea doesn't belong in D2 ICO after giving Wilted Clover's Lullaby a foot massage, but it really doesn't. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Abandon, but its map 16, the thrice-raised capital, seems to have been a major influence on Idumea. Both maps are like Disneyland for slaughter enthusiasts, sprawling parks full of rides without height requirements that go full Armageddon when all 6 keys are collected. I genuinely misplaced the entire red keycard section in my memory as being from Abandon. That's how strong Tavio's craftsmanship is. I instinctively lump him in with the best of Bemused and Benjogami. He actually goes further than them in some places. Just look at all this scripting and mapping machinery. In isolation, Idumea is a very impressive active gazebo warship for 3 weeks of work, but in context, it is D2 ICO's second major stopper. How do you think someone without Doom battle scars would react to mandatory cyber practice, or this bullet hurricane that breaks out in archviles when you try to leave? Do you think they'll want to see the secret exit badly enough to balance beam past 3 cyber demons in the abyss? Forget the secret exit. Here's the regular exit. I cheered. But I'm a lunatic. It's not Tavio's mapping skill that's in question. He just didn't know his audience. Truth be told, most of these fights are easier than they look, but try explaining that to the guy who quit game after the opening shot. Difficulty notwithstanding, it takes gumption to make it to the Pinky Pirates, and guess what? Beating Idumea is still no guarantee that you'll see the bottom of D2 Ico. Grade B, difficulty X. This time we are going to jump into the secret map for reasons that will soon become clear. Map 35, the Great Jib in the Sky. I remember a harbor on a sea of blood. Was it a dream? Or did I... Oh God. Is this... heaven? It sounds corny or ridiculous, but it's true. I choked up a little when I played this map for the first time. I don't know, man. After 3 cities worth of hellish torture, not to mention 24 endurance tests before that, such unabashed joy was quite affecting. The sunshine lording over the deep and dreamy blue, the poofy trees, the rainbow soaring above a Lucky Charms village. Everything is bright and haloed and happy. If you die here, where do you go? Even the obligatory demon killing feels celebratory. The Great Jib in the Sky isn't just a Pink Floyd reference, it's what we call this. Dan Lex did wonderful work here, but Great Jib gets a huge assist from its celestial, Stewboy-esque MIDI, building from cautious hope to rapturous reassurance, ringing out with harp and tubular bells. This D2 Ico original, called Olympus, was written by Corp, whose name has several times appeared shortly after I said, "Man, this MIDI's great." Who wrote this? With both blue keys in hand, you can approach the cathedral, knock out a tame stairway procession, and head to the exit. Unfortunately, the game we are playing is not called Salvation, it's called Doom. The ending is a gut punch, but it makes the time you spent here feel more precious. Grade A, difficulty B+. Map 24, Blur Affinity. So I've got an idea for a map I'm going to submit to a community project. The theme of the project is city maps, but my map isn't a city. It's just a giant rectangle with a shitload of storage crates and like 1,000 viz planes any which way you look, but that's not important right now. The concept of my map is you have to always be under the effect of a blur sphere. If it runs out, you die. That's why I call it Blur Affinity. Cool, huh? So basically, Blur Affinity is a big key hunt. Yeah, you have to get all 6. So I was thinking I'd put the red key card way up high on a ledge, and to get it, you have to wake up like 400 imps, climb some teeny boxes, and then dodge around a bunch of Macubi, hit a switch, dodge past them again, and then do some awesome pillar platforming with monsters below you and fireballs trailing after you. How will they have time to look for keys if they're trying not to run out of invisibility? What are they, stupid? Anyway, so there's another key in a gore pit where there's a BFG you can archvile jump to, by the way, and there's no other way to get it. And to get that one, you have to hit switches that summon monsters on platforms you're standing on and just wait while the bar's lower. What do you mean? You have a blur sphere, that'll keep you safe. Anyway, my third key idea is you walk into this big open room with a key in the middle of it, and then walls raise up around you and it's a maze. And a lot of monsters teleport in, and there are no blur spheres in there. Wait, I've got 3 more. I can't conceive of how misguided one must be to submit a map like this to Doom 2 in City only, nor can I comprehend why it was accepted. Did anybody actually play it on UV? How long did it take you to finish? Because I not only couldn't finish it, I wouldn't want to if I had the ability. I don't think I've seen anybody finish it. Anywhere. This is just coming to me as I was doing the narration for this video. I don't think I've actually seen anybody beat this map non-TAS. It's not just the blur sphere thing. It's dealing with scrambled projectiles while needing to be always in the proximity of blur spheres, which have to be portioned out for you know not what, even though you don't have time for scouting, and are always being waylaid or swarmed without sufficient weaponry or ammo to handle it. And on top of all that, the map performs like trash. Tool-assisted speedrunners and the die-hardest of challenge seekers might find a way to appreciate this soul-sucking asininity, but they are few in number, and in no way this WAD's target audience. Blur Affinity is the most nauseating and wrong-headed Doom map I have ever played. Did not finish, but grade F Anyway, map 25, Eternal This. Bless its black heart, Eternal This is huge, but uncomplicated. A Hulk smash of an episode closer that conjures good old-fashioned fire and brimstone. Cannonballing through teeming crowds of grunts and revenants while lost souls and tracking missiles darken the skies is all well and good, but you'll need a bigger, greener form of attack in short order. The easiest one to get is on the Mancubus Stair, but you can also try your luck on the wall top or spring the trap in the Blue Key building. It's hard to be more specific than the word building here, because Cannonball paints in 1/28 with his textures and stacks them high, but that approach works perfectly well for a short blowout like this. Short being 20 minutes or so. Several Revenants will take personal offense to your touching the red skull key. I recommend you get yellow first, play hide and seek and die with some vials and cybers, and set your invuln prize aside for a little femur snap in action later on. The ear-splitting final fight should only give you trouble if you desperately need healing going in, since both megas are guarded by cyber demons. But I've seen Cannonball do nastier iterations of this keep away from the center setup. It feels insane to call Eternal This a wind down or a return to normalcy, but it's been an insane episode. Grade A-, difficulty A+. Map 26, Welcome to Nothing. Faraway skyscrapers crumble into oblivion. An unseen force siphons off the wreckage. Everything else is darkness. So what exactly is a void city? I consider Neil Forshaw's to be the best interpretation of D2ICO's most cryptic prompt. His is the emptiest map in the Megawad, a port village and dingy city skyline divided by a bottomless river of nil. The 9 secrets scattered across these lonesome tracts are mostly easy to find, serving as carrots for observing the scenery rather than quality of life improvements. Under the spell of Forshaw's gentle MIDI, the demons seem to move more slowly, as if recently awoken from an amber sleep. Though its interior decoration oscillates between ornate and afterthought, Welcome to Nothing excels at creating landmarks and juxtaposes them to surreal effect. The endlessly spinning lighthouse beacon is a particularly poetic image. Any sailor who docks here is far more lost than any still adrift. Welcome to Nothing is D2ICO's long overdue Eye of the Storm and a pleasant secret hunt. Grade A-, difficulty D. Map 27, The Consumed Metropolis, has one of D2ICO's most unfortunate arcs, all the more so because it mirrors the arc of its Megawad. The Consumed Metropolis kicks off with energy and promise, a sandbox suspended in darkness pierced by the maws of world-ending worms, its silence split by roaring hordes and gunfire. Then, slowly but surely, the shine wears off, the bodies pile up, and your goodwill fades away. But there's still so far to go. A bear in the woods can draw exciting fights, but the problem is that he can't stop drawing fights. The Consumed Metropolis isn't huge by D2ICO's standard, but it is the 3rd or 4th longest map in the Megawad because every square inch of it is covered in monsters. You can't take a step without crowds popping up in front of you, spilling out of warehouse doors, and congregating on ledges screaming, "Let me at 'em." Glory battles like the Techno Prison and the multi-part Yellow Key Deluge would stand out more if the space between them wasn't so congested. But Bear never uses 3 monsters when he could use a dozen. Every encounter makes its point many times over, and there are so many needless steps between them. Why do I have to hit 2 switches, each guarded by pain elementals, to open the spaceship when I just hit one by the Baron? What's the point of nagging me with Revenants and Cacos after the blue and red key fights have already been won? The most egregious time waster arrives when the player has the least charity with which to greet it. Before the final BFG bash, you have to cut through 3 unnecessary monster clumps behind key doors, and then a whole kitchen counter maze of SSG fodder and statues. This is not how you hype the finale of a map that requires 2 bathroom breaks to finish. A Bear in the Woods seems like a Joshi fan, but he can't emulate the Legend's economy of monsters. Grade C+, difficulty A+. Map 28, Village and Void. I imagine most of D2ICO's audience has left the proverbial theater by now. After A Wilted Clover's Lullaby, Idumea, and Blur Affinity, anyone turned off by Slaughter is long gone, and I'm well over 20 hours of recording by now, so fatigue has probably claimed a good percentage of challenge fiends too. Whoever's left, brace yourselves. Village and Void is the last coup de grace of D2ICO, an overwhelming, unreasonable, uncrackable black box that couldn't possibly take less than 2 hours to 100% without a guide on your first try. It's like Odyssey of Noises on crack cocaine or Hell Revealed 2 with a hard-on for puzzles. Nearly 1,000 pre-placed monsters roam the streets, gorge the alleyways, and dance on windowsills. Expect no refuge indoors because the 2 or 3 buildings accessible from the ground are primed for death, and snipers can see you from anywhere. It's a constant barrage barrage of Imp, Mancubus, and Hell Knight fireballs, Gatling gun rounds, Archvile heat, and Cyber Demon missiles. The lava's cranked to 20 damage, coexistence with the Cyber Beat Cops is mandatory if you want to have cells later, and all the decent weapons are in enemy clutches. The beginning is, by far, the most fun part of the map. Once you manage to cool off the streets, find the yellow skull key in the bars it unlocks. This is the point of entry for the 3D bridges which lead to the red key and this switch, which is important, I think. The blue key fight in the Lava Fall library is tough, but don't even try to get the red key without a BFG. 2 of them are sequestered in difficult to find secrets. Take your pick. You can fall off the world onto an invisible section of the automap, or you can break into this building, hit a secret switch, and rocket jump to a BFG that immediately smothers you in Hell Knights. And I'm serious, the red key path with the BFG is hard. Without it is straight masochism. Picture doing this with just a rocket launcher. Now if you survive, what do you do when Ninja Delphox refills the building perimeter with Hell Knights and Imps, plus 2 more Archviles, plus I don't even know how many more Flame Boys out in the city. You're given all the health and supplies that you're gonna get right at the start, so if you don't know about the war to come, you can easily overspend, and then you're painted into a corner. Have I mentioned that there's a Commander Keen hunt for the secret exit on top of 11 secrets? Have I mentioned that this annoying MIDI is only 2.5 minutes long, so you have to listen to it 50 times in a standard playthrough? Is this starting to sound excessive yet? In no way is this worth the effort for me to properly finish, and I am not the layman. Either 1, nobody realized how impenetrable this map was, which would mean the testers were hopelessly out of touch. 2, no one felt comfortable providing feedback to Ninja Delphox. 3, Ninja Delphox ignored their feedback and they just said, oh well. Or 4, nobody got around to actually finishing Village and Void. Grade D-, difficulty X. Map 29, Void Masquerading as Matter. It's tragicomic that Myolden thought Void Masquerading as Matter would be a climactic penultimate to D2 Ico. It barely cracks the Megawads top 10 longest, and though it strives to be a Scythe 2-esque thematic recap, it never had a chance. There's simply too much here. Too many different flavors to bring under one banner. That being said, Myolden meets your exhausted groans with some galvanizing action, and AD79's MIDI works a miracle, infusing these tired hands with strength to push on just a little further. The first 3 themed islands are rocket and shotgun only, which renders Egypt's feature fight the hardest in the map. God damn these teleporters. It's bad enough being blended up with missiles and napalm and archviles always being behind you, but your only useful weapon also kills you. How about putting pads where they're teleporting to also? After a breather in the underground zone, we're shipped off to Hell, which is my pick for the anthology's highlight. It's some long-awaited and much-needed catharsis, BFGing down a diabolic Times Square. Myolden keeps it surging until about halfway through the final fight. For better or worse, the waves are timed sluggishly, so you'll be caught up and ready for archviles by the time you ground the Caco Cloud. Save cells and health for the last octet, and you've earned the right to jump into a deep hole in peace. Out of context, I like Void Masquerading as Matter, but it belongs to a different Megawad. Grade B+, difficulty X-. Map 30, Sin City. I have decided to be grateful for Sin City. It's not very good, but it's 2 minutes long. It seems likely that Necrom Warrior plays with mouse look, because there's no other way to excuse how often you're expected to step off of buildings onto candle-marked paths you can't see. Most of your deaths will be by falling, and most of your falling will be done in the name of figuring out where to go. I found it helpful to clip around in God mode, reload, and retrace my steps. I can't hate an icon of Sin Map that marks its spawn spots, lets you ignore the underlings, and gives you a straight shot at the boss brain. Hallelujah. Grade C-, difficulty B+. Oh, we're not done yet, folks. We still have the secret maps, remember? Map 31, Traces to Nowhere. This Sandy Peterson homage conjures the same street fight shivers as its inspiration, but collecting 6 keys in a suburb lookalike weirds me out, and there's no BFG waiting for you in a shed full of skulls, so you'll have to knuckle down. It's impressive how much chaos the captain can brew with half the monsters Sandy used, but the numerous late-coming archviles and surprise cyber demons sapped some of the fun from my thriftless first playthrough. Engage indirectly and keep stirring the pot. Traces to Nowhere lacks the obsessive intensity that makes D2 Ico what it is, but that's not a bad thing. Grade B-, difficulty B. Map 32, Obama Hamburger 2. I'm gonna say some things now. If Obama Hamburger 2 wasn't the way it is, if we were only considering its gameplay, It would be annoying. All of your weapons are locked up tight, the city is overseen by 3 spider masterminds which have to be manually deleted, and several ambushes require delicate handling. There's a flood of revenants in the Halloween store, har har, which will run amok and ruin everything if you're not loaded up with rockets or prepared to make them infight. The rocket launcher is the last weapon you choose to use in the rocket launcher trap, but the super shotty does not cut it. Worst of all, the BFG maze will unavoidably make you f your face, so good luck saving health or finding the secret megasphere. If I was only considering Obama Hamburger 2's gameplay, I would not like it. But Obama Hamburger 2 is one of the most wretched and depressing places I've visited in Doom. A meme-infested shithole that would make a Geiger counter click rapidly. The texturing is atrocious. The decoration is atrocious. The sky is atrocious. And I get it. It's on purpose. It's an in-joke or a troll or something. Fine. If it brings you and your friends pleasure, that's all well and good. But it might be worth considering that in a sequential playthrough, there are 24 more maps after this, and the Clown Act lowers their chances of being played. Grade F, difficulty A. Map 33, Wanted in 12 Systems. I'll be careful. Paying homage to Pineapple Under the Sea's mapping at warp speed and Ancient Aliens secondhand, Wanted in 12 Systems serves up snackable action and a prismatic future tech environment. The playtime and monster count are generously dialed back, and the view of these high-rise porches is the only indication that Wanted exists in a city, but the multitasking part of my brain welcomes its closed, linear layout. The final fight is noticeably tougher and clumsier than the rest of the map, dumping 3 archviles, some revenants, and a rude amount of hit scanners around the exit UFO. Of course you can and should just run away. The only questions are whether you'll have enough rockets to fupa everything, and whether you'll catch enough damage at the break to make a stray revenant missile lethal. The coward's way is no fun, but the non-coward's way is not as practical. Warp speed seems like it was a special project for Death Bear, and it's nice to see him building on its mythology. Grade B, difficulty B-. Map 34, Bricked Up. Huh? What's the pun? Oh gee, thanks for that association. At first, I was surprised that I'd never seen LEGO Doom before, since everything has been done in both LEGO and Doom. But a few blinding minutes later, my childhood dream of living in a LEGO town was dead. Let me explain. The trees are perfect. Mumi's LEGO sky, immaculate. Even the garish Duplo neighborhood and dopey vehicles are worth it for the gag. However, Blue Pineapple on his standard setting makes me feel like I drank too much Mountain Dew, and when you throw in the Crash Bandicoot MIDI and aesthetic anarchy, Bricked Up pushes the needle close to panic attack. I had an especially hard time managing the boss monsters at the start, and should have raided the Plutonia house for its BFG sooner. And that's another thing. As cute as this idea starts off, you know what's really going on here? BP replaced all the minifigs in town with demons, and now we're on a schizophrenic rampage, killing pool partiers, our former neighbors, and everything that breathes in the police station. It's Doom, except it's Lego Island, except it's postal. I've never been so charmed and repulsed by the same map. Grade C, difficulty A, footnote, missed a spot. Since we already visited Heaven in episode 5, there's only one map left. Map 36, Anti-Life. This is what Doom means. Fear, and then pain, and then death, and then here, where blood drains from the sky, where torture is worship, where everything is pure. This is the last city. There is nothing below it. In a community-made multiverse that regularly churns out places which to wake up in would be a fate worse than death, Anti-Life might be the worst of them all. Anti-Life throbs with medical anxiety. It's the color of health kits. It distorts and consumes a nearly universal sign for help is on the way. It reminds you that there is a heart pounding away in your chest, that you are a loose-fitting sack of tendons and bones and cartilage, and that you can be taken apart by a well-trained specialist. Archviles have always scared me more than other demons. Their intelligence lends them a naturalness in libraries and laboratories, and their power of resurrection makes them particularly unholy. What are they then but Hell's doctors? Intentional or not, Anti-Life's use of vials is another symbolic assault on the human body's sanctity. Who knows what designs these pale students of suffering have for your soul, let alone your flesh. Though you are not physically strapped to an operating table, Mumi does everything in his power to make you feel like you are. Anti-Life's interiors inflict wicked bouts of claustrophobia, from the rocket launcher time attack to the BFG Tower of Terror. But there's precious little refuge even outside, where one slip will swallow you. The void steals all the oxygen. In exchange for access to a critical supply bank, you must submit to self-torture to escape even hotter flames, and for a blue skull, the head surgeon requires your assistance machine gun vivisecting specimens in the round while a bloated board of directors looks on with labored breath. Overcome your phobias, deny despair, and when the final test is upon you, take the invulnerability, ring the elevator, and show them what colors they bleed. Mumi is a visionary. I thought so before I played Anti-Life, but now it's undeniable. This is one of the greatest syntheses of horror and video game action I've ever seen, and the culmination of Mumi's apocalyptic aspirations to date. I cannot imagine an eviler place. Maybe he can. Grade A+, difficulty X-. So, in 2024, Doom 2 in City only brought me to my knees. I have not seen, before or since, such massive swings in a single wad, between euphoria and vomit, between high art and piss takes, between gentleness and brutality. The gap between this megawad's greatest and its least is larger than the one between Gene Bird and BPRD by a damn sight, and I think it's the most eclectic survey of the Doom community that has ever been done. By that metric, it is also one of the most essential of all community projects. Unfortunately, the same qualities that elevate it make it nigh on unapproachable. I have always written Dean of Doom episodes as exhortations to play the wads they're about, but this episode is not that. I have done my best to capture the D2 Ico experience here so that you can appreciate its ambition without having to also suffer it. I'm not saying don't play D2 Ico, I'm saying that if you can't finish it, that's not on you. This video is your consolation prize. This is one of the most challenging scripts I have ever completed. D2 Ico was, for better or worse, one of Dean of Doom's four horsemen, and has been as much a source of angst for me as fascination. As pitiful and unuseful as it is, I'm going to give a final grade of B to Doom 2 in City only. Difficulty-wise, D2 Ico is at times fiendishly demanding, but it will also bring untrained marathoners crumbling down. The only reason this evades an X is because conditioning paid off in playthrough 2. Now for my Dean's list. Valedictorian, Map 20, A Wilted Clover's Lullaby. Salutatorian, Map 36, Anti-Life. Class President, Map 24, Blur Affinity, and since Map 24 is otherwise disqualified, the dunce cap goes to Map 32, Obama, Hamburger, 2. Thank you all very much for watching. Now, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge my generous patrons. Aaron Allen, Agile Jackson, Agu XYZ, Alephany, Alexander Levine, Alpha Skeeter, Artisan Talzar, Beatbeard, Birdburn, Blexor, Botchnik Schleba, Bitefire, Kappa-Bitch, Captain Wave, Charlie Pryor, Cheese Wheel, Chloe 584, Christophine Place, Dark Matter 2793, Deefers, Delirium, El Inferno, Emperor Spoon, Endless Moose, Francis T218, Galaquack, General Roasterrock, Gothic Box, Griffin Upchurch, Harvey Funbucks, Henners Lenners, Hexelix, Hot Tomato, Ian Hunter, Idiot Supreme, Jeff Hibbert, Jeremy Francouz, Jimmy Paddock, Jude, Just Some Schmuck, Just Great 98, Killplane, Quan, Large Cat, Lexi Max, Logan Lazalda, Lord Biscuit the Tossable, Lumnal, Livin' Dead, Mamatic, Mark Rowland, Mars, Master Drew 117, Matthew Gower, Matthew Widhaha, McJimbles, Michael Akins, Michael Jensen, Mike Merrick, Mikey Boutierrez, Miracle Water, Nixer, Mosicon, Mullywiz, Neurometry, Nick XCOM, Number 26, Not Obelisk, Novaseer, NX Avery, Omnibot, Pezaveng Jaj, Philip Coffey, Foo, Razmataz, Red Doomed Earth, Reese Anderson, Richter Berg, Salt Bad Guy, Saf the Coffee Witch, Scoobly, Sean Grant, Snacker Fork, Star Cannon 399, Stonemason, Stupid Nick, Sylvester Priss, Tamario, Tarakushino, Tavio, The Lippy Server, The Refined Odyssey, TJG1289, Turbine 2K5, Two-Time Grime, Velenex, Video Game Lover, Wandering Autumn Leaves, Why Bimo Not a Crab, William Huber, and Yugi Boy 85. Thank you. I appreciate you all very much. This is Mount Pain 27, and I'll see you in the next episode of Dean of Doom.